I'm Randall Watkins, the winemaker for Laurel Glen Vineyard, and I just poured the 2016 Laurel Glen Vineyard Estate Cabernet Sauvignon. Really deep and fragrant. It's highly perfumed, even more so than most vintages. It has a lot of ripe cherry, dark cassis aromas, and even a lot of baking spices. It has nutmeg, clove, a lot of savory components to this wine, even more so than the last vintage. A great balance of acidity and fruit ripeness. This is mountain structure with a lot of suppleness at the same time. It has deep tannins that are quite elegant, and I can tell that it's going to be long-lived. This wine has the acidity of a Bordeaux, while it has the ripeness of being grown in Northern California. I love the 16. That's really going to do well for us. Excited to release this wine. It has a lushness, a very supple fruitiness to it that you wouldn't necessarily get in a European wine. This one has the mountain tannins that I'm looking for in a great Cabernet that's going to be really long-lived and age-worthy. Those tannins are also quite supple and elegant. This wine has a lot of finesse. In 2016, ended up having a good amount of rain, where as 2012 through 2015 had been the drought years, increasingly drier and drier each year. 2016 we had plenty of water to fill the soil profile for the vines and allow us to have a green canopy throughout the warm summer. The other thing that happened in 2016 was in February we had quite warm weather. Bud break ended up being a lot earlier because of this warm February, and the vines woke up from their long slumber in February rather than in March. So that was about 3 weeks earlier than a normal year. And also the after bud break there was the bloom time and the flowering and the berry set and veraison were each 3 weeks ahead of a normal vintage. So a very early year, but we had long hang time because it started so early, and then we picked at the end of September. We ended up getting even longer hang time than a normal year, and that develops a lot of flavor complexity by having that long hang time for flavor development. Laurel Glen being a lot cooler than most other California Cabernet sites, it has flavor development at a lower sugar level. So we don't have as high of alcohols, and we have greater natural acidity in the finished wines. It ends up making a more naturally balanced wine, and beautiful wine like this 2016. It is 100% estate grown Cabernet Sauvignon, and it's also organically farmed. For the purity of the flavors that I get in this, a lot of that comes from the mountain grown and the organically grown as well. It is something between, I'm going to compare it to 2012, and that it has a lot of that plushness and ripeness, but not quite as ripe as 2012 and the 2015, which had a lot of concentration, the 2015 vintage of Laurel Glen. So somewhere between those. So it's not as concentrated as the 15 and not as ripe as the 12, but really beautifully balanced. In fact, one of my favorites. Laurel Glen Vineyard is located on the top of Sonoma Mountain, 1,000-foot elevation, and is a gentle slope, which allows for good drainage and a little bit of a struggle for the vines, which gives you more concentration and flavor development and great color in the wines. However, it's not too steep, so we don't have the erosion problems of the very steep sites, and we're also able to almost entirely farm without irrigating. So it is virtually dry farmed. Even within the drought years, we didn't water any of the blocks except for one block, block 6. This is Randall Watkins signing off from my barrel side chat. And I think they said it was inappropriate if I show you how purple my tongue got from this wine.